What's going on? This is my 257 predictions. Sorry this is, getting up late. With fights being today, it's been a lot of work with having 3 cards in an 8-day span, and I'm looking forward to having some time off to really get my head straight for the next card that's in 2 weeks. So before I get into these predictions, let's go over the bets I made last week. The 4 money lines, 3 out of the 4 hit, which was Michael Chiesa, Matt Schnell, Akhmedov, and Perez is the one that missed. And I actually fucking did not bet Akhmedov. I should have, but I think I woke up expecting him to get a little bit of a better deal because so much money was coming in on Brees, and then I woke up to him being almost a pick him again, so I was like, let me just stay away from it. But, honorably, I did call that one. I was going to bet it. So, other than that, Fierro and Alves fights not going the distance, both hit. And then my 3 round 2 starts, which was Lungiambula, Sue, and Murphy, all hit. So 9 out of 10. Great week. 73% profit on my money. Could have been even more if I actually bet Akhmedov. But, whatever. Alright, so we're going to look real quickly at this week's bets. I'll touch more as I go along on these in the predictions video. So I got round 2 starting for Muradov and Sanchez. I got Sarah McMann money line. I got Sanchez money line. I got Connor and Dustin round 2 starting. I got Antonio Carlos Jr. money line. And I got round 2 starting on Rountree and Pragnio. And I have one parlay of Amanda Ribas and over 2.5 rounds on the Calderwood fight. Let's see. So minus 325 for Andrew and Muradov to start round 2. I thought that was pretty fair. A lot of these are like minus 600 and stuff like that for the round 2 starts. I think this one could easily just fit in with that group, but it's 325, so 30% of my money. It's something that I'm pretty confident will hit, so we're fine with it. Minus 133, Sarah McMann, we'll touch on that. Plus 137, Sanchez, touch on that. Minus 180, Connor and Dustin starting round 2, we'll touch on that. Minus 104, Carlos Jr., we'll touch on that. Rountree and Pragnio start round 2. That's a little bit of a riskier one, but we'll touch on that. And then the parlay is, I don't know what the odd. I think it's like it should be like minus 130 or minus 140ish. I think it's like 70% of my money back. So that's what we're betting. And we're gonna get into these predictions right about now. So the first fight is Albazi and Zhumagulov. One second. Just trying to get my my windows in the right order here. Alright. So, not one I want to bet on. I believe Zhumagulov will win by a decision here. Albazi has a submission threat for sure, and he has decent wrestling himself. So it's really going to come down to who has the better wrestling. I think Zhumagulov does, but I don't feel very confident in it. The line's just been back and forth on who's, the favorite and whatnot with this one. So, yeah, I take Zhumagulov to win by decision. I think he's the better wrestler, probably a bit the better striker too, but very unconfident as far as wanting to bet that. Next, Evloev, Lentz. Give me Evloev to win by decision. He's minus 600, even higher than that. Nick Lentz, he's a wrestler. Lentz kind of has his foot a little bit out of the door of the UFC, I believe, if you listen to his interviews. Evloev has faced wrestlers like that, Grundy, and he handles it really well. He shows he's the better wrestler in most cases. I was going to bet Lentz against Grundy before the fight fell through, so I think Lentz probably has a better striking chance with Evloev than Grundy does, but I still probably favor Evloev there. So I would never want to bet this at these odds, but yeah, I think Evloev should get it done. Should get it done by decision. I don't think he's really the finishing type. So now we got Khalil Rountree and Prachnio. Rountree by knockout. Prachnio has had shin issues. Obviously, you've seen that. As soon he can pack a punch, and we've actually seen chin issues with Rountree, not nearly as bad. I have a bet that this is going to start round 2, and it's a little risky, I know, because this very well could be another first-round finish. But I think with both of them having generally losing records, they're going to try to be more tentative than, just trying to be explosive. They just want to win, period. They're not trying to do something fancy or get some big finish, I think. So, yeah, it's a little bit risky, but it was minus 105 versus, I think, minus 125 for it not to start round 2. So, we got a shot there. All right, McMann versus Pena. Both wrestlers, but McMann, I think, has the clear advantage. I'm going to take McMann to win by decision. And, yes, I mean, if Pena could get her into some kind of submission or something like that, because we've seen McMann have that, but I don't think she has that ability really here. You gotta imagine that's like the one thing McMann has been working on. I have a bet on McMann. I think she's the far superior wrestler. I think she's just going to execute the same game plan she always does. She's going to get into a dominant position and hold them there for 15 minutes. So, Sarah McMann, by decision. Next fight, Brad Tavares, Carlos Jr. I'm going by the best fight odds list, by the way, so this might not be the right order. But anyway, Tavares, Carlos Jr. Give me Carlos Jr. to win by submission. I have a bet on him. I think he's also very possible to win by decision, so I'm not saying bet that, but I do think he has the ability to win here. There's a big grappling deficiency with Tavares, and Junior can probably hold his own with his hands with him too. So that's what I'm going to go with here. I got a bet on him at minus 104. I think he's got for being a pick'em, I think he's got a way clearer path to victory here than some of the other pick'ems on this card. So, yeah, I'll say by submission. I'm not confident in by submission, but I think he has the ability to finish Tavares here for sure. But Tavares really hasn't faced such a competent grappler before, not recently anyway. So, just as money line, though, I could definitely see Tavares, surviving to a decision. But as far as the prediction, I'm going to say he's going to sub him. Next, we got Arman and Matt Favola. Give me Arman to win by decision. This is kind of in a way, mirroring everything I said about the Evloev fight. Way too high of odds. This last-minute change-up. But I think, I mean, I guess it's possible he can crack Favola and knock him out. But I think generally his style is more not to do that, so I'm gonna go with him to win by decision. Sanchez Muradov, I have a bet here on Sanchez. I got him at plus 137. I should have waited because now he's plus 155, plus 150, plus 145. I would imagine that's going to start closing in towards fight time. People trying to wait to see how big of a big of a deal they're going to be able to get. Yeah, Muradov, I've seen him be rocked, and he hasn't really, he's not that, I don't think he's that great of a striker when I watch his striking. He just hasn't faced really that great of a competition level. The one guy he fought didn't really even fight him the whole time. It was the same guy that fought Sanchez. I forgot, it was Trevin Smith, I think. And when you watch Trevin Smith and Sanchez, he actually fights Sanchez for the first half of the fight, and then the second half he does the same thing that he does with Muradov, the whole fight. So his striking doesn't impress me. Sanchez has made, I think, a lot of improvements in his striking. Especially, I watched all of his fights, sequentially, and he's made a lot of improvements. Like I said, Muradov has shown a bad chin in some of his spots where I saw him get rocked, and he acts like it doesn't bother him, but it does. No one follows up on it. No one has like a volume striking like Sanchez. Sanchez is going to do some combinations, not just going to be like touch, walk away. So I think Sanchez will win by knockout. Not betting that. Again, he could win by decision. Who knows? So I do have that fighting start. I have that start round 2, minus 325. I don't think it'll end early on either way. I think they both have a good enough chin not to go out the first round unless something special happens. I thought that was pretty fair odds for a round 2 to start, with some of the other ones being minus 600, minus 900 for that same thing. So give me Sanchez to win by knockout, preferably in round 2 or round 3. Ribas Rodriguez, I think everything here favors Ribas. I think she's very fairly priced. I have a parlay with her, and the next fight, I and Calderwood going over 2.5 for like minus 135 or something like that altogether. Minus 300 for Ribas, minus 310 for Ribas, and minus 350 for that over. Yeah, everything here favors Ribas. I really don't want to touch on this fight too much. I really don't see her losing this. Calderwood and I think most things favor Calderwood. I'm not going to bet on this one. I could see it happening either way, but I think the grappling has a decent advantage for Calderwood, and I think the striking has like a slight advantage for her too. I do think, especially with those leg kicks, she's really good with the leg kicks, and that's going to probably set up some control time throughout the fight. I don't want to bet on this one, but yeah, I think Calderwood will win by decision. That's another thing. That's the other half of my leg, over 2.5 rounds. This would be insane. Like, neither of these girls finish people. Like, unless something happens, like, I don't think this is going to get finished. I'm pretty confident in this going to a decision either way. So, and then we're going to go to the co-main event. I've kind of flipped back and forth on this, Hooker and Chandler. I'm supposed to be writing down all these fucking timestamps. Now I'm going to have to go back and listen to the whole thing. At first I thought Hooker was going to make kind of quick work of him, knock him out. Then I started watching tape, and I kind of flipped. I thought, oh, okay, Chandler's going to wrestle out a victory by decision, and I think I'm back on Hooker for my final pick, but I don't think he's going to be able to finish Chandler. I think it's going to be like a close decision based on like if you give like the wrestling or the slight striking advantage, or something like that. And I think Hooker will get his hand raised by a decision. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, Conor McGregor, Poirier. Everybody acting like Conor McGregor's a lock is crazy. I am going to pick Conor McGregor to win by a knockout as far as just a prediction, keeping in mind in the fact that I'm not psychic and I just have to choose one. The bet I have here is round 2 will start. I do not think it's going to be early. That whole 60-second, 90-second, whatever he was saying. Matter of fact, if you watched that press conference, you saw that he kind of backtracked on that statement. He said, yeah, I do think I have the ability to knock him out there, but you know, Dustin's tough and blah, 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 blah. I think it'll be great for the fans if this does get drug out. Either way, I think I have the skills to win. But he did not in any way stick to the statement of, I'm confident I'm going to knock him out quick. Not that that matters anyway. But I do think eventually he's going to get some kind of TKO situation on Poirier. If you're betting Poirier, I don't mind it at all. I think he's definitely a live dog for this price. He could get a submission late. Maybe he could. I don't think he's gonna knock McGregor out. But I definitely could see him outpointing him. Win by a decision. Win by a submission late. But I think if I have to choose one thing, it's gonna be McGregor in like round 3 or round 4 by a TKO. But yeah, not betting either side there. Yeah, but round 2 starting, it's minus 180. I think that's a deal for round 2 starting in a fucking 5-round fight. You got way that's one of those things that it's the hype built into it, and just because he said the thing one time. If none of that was set up, this would probably be minus 400 or something like that. So that's it. That's the full card. Let's see what happens, and I'll be back in probably a week or so with the next one. Try to get it out a little faster than the day of. And that's it. Take it easy.